I've got to go. Quick.
Yep.
Ready, steady, go.
Yep, coming.
Hello and welcome to another...
Bat.
Welcome to another bat.
Quack.
No,
Oh, is that the duck going to Eagle School?
no,
To go to school.
I'll give you another one. You don't go to a gunfight with a butter knife, all right?
Always full of good advice, Daniel. Thanks.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to another installation of TechTalk. I am in the beautiful, beautiful Perth, seeing a lot of awesome people, and I'm excited for another TechTalk. I haven't seen you guys in weeks. So, besides on TechTalk, but real life I'm talking about. Mike, what is it we're talking about today? Give us a bit of Mike's input.
Okay, well, this week I thought we'd talk about chemicals, understanding the process when it comes to using chemicals, interiors, exteriors, walls, floors, whichever it may be. And yeah, a bit of a broad topic, but I'm sure we'll hone it in a little bit there with a few examples and get your guys' thoughts, and we'll run with that one, boys.
Yeah, this week we're doing our first 3-hour session of Tech Talk.
Well, I've got all the time in the day.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
That's
Is that enough in there? All right.
It's like when Justin Bieber does his live show. He always goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax and enjoy the show."
Only you
Okay.
know that, Daniel.
I love Justin Bieber. Nothing wrong with that.
yeah. Cool. That's great. Great.
Usually when you go to
Great.
Perth, aren't you meant to like get a tan, not turn white?
All right.
All right, Mike, I'm going to cut that just a little bit because you just gave us nearly an entire seminar's worth of information to cover over. I'd love to do it, but I'm just going to take a few of the key ones that you mentioned there. And I think that the overriding subject matter there is really understanding the process, and not just the process, it's understanding the components of the process, when they're supposed to be applied. Also looking at what's coming out the back of the machine, assessing it and going, is this how it's supposed to look at this stage? From a chemical side of stuff, there's no point applying the chemicals or the treatments to the concrete if the timing isn't right. Now, if the substrate hasn't been prepared to accept it, or if the substrate isn't suitable for it yet. So I'm going to pass over to Kurt and have Kurt explain a bit more on the process side of things, because that's where Kurt and Milan have their strengths here. So I'm going to step back for a second.
That's okay, because if you step backwards, I'll step forwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, it is about that process and the materials that we're working with. And we always say it time and time again, what's happening behind the machine is going to govern how your process and how that particular job is going to go. We'll refine it once again. If you're starting to see a lot of moisture in the floor, or you're starting to see some things that are jumping out at you that may be of concern, well, that's that we should be doing our sample, and that is the time to run through the process to see what type of hidden things we're going to pick up, within this process. Let's not leave it till the end of the job, to the end of the house, to get to 50 polish and we start to see the floor fade away or deteriorate. So pick it up in the earlier stages. Well, the time you save there is going to save you time, money in the long run. But once again, the floor is telling you what to do, and start playing around with those things to identify how to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Kurt, I've got one for you. Or Milan,
Yes.
actually. Both got your hand on the buzzer. Who's going to answer this one first? I had a conversation with a contractor just today, and they were polishing the floor at 50 grit resin, and everything that had been filled in was coming out at 50 grit resin. And it was not just coming out, but it was coming out in large chunks. Large chunks of grout were coming out, and the grout looked like it was pulling out chunks of the floor with it.
Right.
Is this the right sequence to be finding out this problem or dealing with it?
No.
Definitely not. We should have found this out in the sample that we did. But we also need to identify how long we left that densifier down. What was in the process? How soon did we hit that floor? Did we allow enough time for that densifier to go off for us to be able to hit that floor with the 50s. So these are all the things that we need to, I guess, be mindful of when we're dealing with chemicals, especially coming into the cooler climates. The chemicals will need extra time to work properly.
Absolutely.
So with, when you say talking about doing the sample, say we are doing the sample, what's some of the telltale signs you're going to start seeing it right at the beginning of the process? They're going to start jumping out at you to sort of tell you that things aren't right, I guess. It might be very obvious, but what's some of the telltale signs?
Kurt, you love your samples.
Look, I guess we're looking for, in this scenario, what type of moisture is in the floor. You know, you probably see that in your grouting stage. You might even see it at your metal bond. So obviously you're going to start bringing a lot of stuff up to the surface with the heat that's been generated. But in this scenario, what we're talking about now, with the floors, you know, falling apart at 50 polish, it looks like it needed some chemical treatment a lot earlier on at a stage before getting to 50 polish and it falling apart. That's telling us that the material that we're working with is not accepting the process that it's at now. So that would have, really good indication that more preparation work needed to be done at the earlier stage than just running through the standard process.
Yeah. I mean, we also see this quite often where guys proceed with the entire project and then having to redo the entire area, like say 200 square meters, high-end residential. You're doing your grouting, processing through, you're already densifying all the areas, ready to go and hit your 50s. And at this point, you haven't done the sample. You're having to redo the entire area, the entire house. So, it just goes down out of your pocket. So
it's like spending 2 days in a seminar without doing a sample.
Some information that was given to a customer the other day that I had a drama. We didn't so much had a drama with the entire floor, but the process wasn't quite working for him. When we've gone back, and a tip that I was told to give the customer, which of course when you're doing your sample too, try and pick the worst part of the floor, and that's going to give you your sort of least result, I guess. But you pick the worst part of the floor with the biggest issues, and then at least you know where you're heading, I guess.
Yeah, good advice.
And the other thing as well is like what I find a lot, talking to a lot of great, amazing contractors who have issues and always trying to troubleshoot. They all call us always too late in the process. So if you're starting seeing issues early on, call right away, ask the question. If I don't have the answer, someone will. And I find, just that little bit, that small advice can turn this whole around. So
get on it early.
That's definitely an important one, I reckon.
Fantastic. Anyone else got any more they'd like to contribute?
Well, I didn't want to say anything, Josh, but you're looking a little bit. Have you just had lunch or something, or?
No, Mike. I live in Melbourne. It's that time of year.
Are you warming something up?
Yeah, it's Melbourne. Remember, this is the time of year that I start getting telephone calls that the Totally Defend solvent-based sealer is really hard to remove off the surface. And remember, this is the time of year to keep your sealer nice and warm. All right? Totally Defend doesn't like to be kept cold this time of year. If you keep it cold, if you don't keep it warm, all of the solids inside it will separate from the solvent, and the first part of the sealer that you pour out is going to be solvent rich, and then you'll get to the bottom of the tin and you'll either be pouring out solid rich content or you'll have solids stuck in the bottom of the container. So remember, this time of year it starts to get cold. The two things are going to happen. You're going to start calling me and saying that you're having issues with your sealer. Warm the stuff up, put it in a hot bucket of water, keep it in your generator. Not that I
in the generator.
And the other thing is, people are going to start calling me saying that they've got problems with machines going into under voltage. And the main problem for that is loose connections in your power leads, which happen this time of year when we start getting expansion and contraction. Expansion comes from the heat that you're generating in all of those terminals during the day, as we've got a high amount of current going through them. And then at night, it gets freezing cold. We get a lot of contraction in those terminals, and then we get screws backing themselves out, and then you lose good terminal connectivity, and then you start getting low voltage and that sort of stuff, or loose phase. So go through your power leads, keep your sealer warm, look after yourselves.
When you just really stuck that one in there, didn't you? Eh?
I did.
when you talk about keeping your sealer warm, and you're putting in like a warm bucket of water, a hot bucket of water, is there too warm? Is there or
Hot.
Boiling.
Boiling's good. Boiling water, if you put it in there for 30 minutes, it'll be good.
Just take it home with you at night time. Keep it close to you. You know, if we're all on a project that we really care about, we should keep the sealer with us at all times.
Yeah.
And, you know, the wife might not like it, but she's not the one doing the floor.
She'll love it. She'll love it. You'll get home, and after shoving all these cold tins of Totally Defend into the bed, I think your wife's probably going to come out and go, honey, you know, Works Plus actually does a water-based sealer that doesn't require all this stuff, and it does a good job of protecting your floors.
Hey?
Good.
You have to shoot.
All right, thank you very
Okay.
much. Have a
I
great
didn't want to look at
weekend.
your face anymore. Daniel, I'm done with you. Go put some sunscreen
I'm
on.
going to say au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
cheers,
Okay.
guys?
Ciao,
Have a
ciao.
good week. Have a good
Thank you.
weekend.
Ciao, ciao.
See you,
Daniel.
bye.
Hello, Dan.
Get home safe, mate.
Bye, Dan. Bye, guys.
He's gone. He's out of here.
Bye-bye.